Good evening. We are discussing news articles with special reference to crime, justice, rule of law, democracy, victimization aspects. So, today we'll be seeing the news articles that appeared in the newspapers on 27th September 2023. So, see here, the news article talks about an accident, a collision that happened between a cruise boat and another vessel in Hungary in 2019. 4 years from 2019 now, the Ukrainian captain of the cruise boat has been given 5 years prison sentence for negligence that led to this fatal mass deaths of 27 people, primarily South Korean tourists. So, so the article primarily focuses on what happened to the offender. However, it was silent about whether the victims were compensated, what kind of assistance were given to the victims. That was not mentioned in this article. Now, this article it talks about five people were charged in United Kingdom with the charge that they were spying for Russia. And who are these five people as alleged here? Bulgarians. So this is Bulgaria, Russia, UK. So if this is true, then it would mean that Russia has used foreign citizens in another soil for the purpose of espionage or spying. Now, this article it talks about compulsory retirement of Indian administrative servant. Earlier, this particular servant was in news last year with reference to emptying a stadium of athletes to walk their dog. They are saying we have taken this based on performance, non-satisfactory performance. So these are the relevant rules as mentioned in the news article. So just to know that there is this provision of compulsory retirement. Now, this news article it talks about extending tenure of the law commission to give report on simultaneous elections. The tenure has been extended up to August 31, 2024. Now, this kind of gives. Uh, what if they give the report at August 2024? Does that mean anyway this simultaneous election is not going to be applied for the 2024 elections? So these things and simultaneous elections have been criticized from various aspects, giving consideration on practicality, because now what happens, there is collapse of a government, immediately election will happen. If it has to be simultaneous, then what if a government of a state collapses in the middle? Then how would we go with election? Then what is the purpose of simultaneous election? There are a lot of discussions going on, and we should also note that there is something called as electoral federalism. What do you mean by that? Say during the state elections, people vote for the state party. So state party will be the ruling party in the state. However, during the parliamentary elections, the same people of the state, instead of voting for the state party, they are voting for the national party. So, but what will happen during simultaneous elections? So people are not provided according to necessary choice. That in that angle also there have been criticisms. And yes, Prime Minister Narendra has been talking about simultaneous elections since 2014. So let's see how this goes. So this news, shocked the conscience. There was a sports meet, and only one person ran in the 100-meter race because of information that dope testing officials from National Anti-Dope Testing are on the way or going to come, so that they will test the samples. Many people fled the ground. Now, is this the state of sports in our country? This was the final day of Delhi State Athletics Championship, and you see here there is only one participant at the starting block of 100 meters final, and there is allegation that almost this kind of gives an impression that almost everyone is using this. They call it as a drug EPO injection, which is prohibited performance enhancing drug, right? So again, this is very dangerous to health as well, because this can cause damage to the blood circulation system. It is generally the medicine that is given for treatment of anemia. So again, this is sad state of affairs. Unfair manner competitions are happening. you know. Yes. So this talks about collegium. So collegium refers to, members of, senior most members of Supreme Court, who are called as collegium. That is the selection committee for judges at the High Court and Supreme Court, and also for transfer. Now they are saying that many proposals are pending and government is not moving, with necessary swiftness. So again, we have to know that collegium system of appointment is was not present since the beginning of the constitution coming into force, but particularly the during 1970s, Indira Gandhi, during the tenure of Indira Gandhi as prime minister, there was a lot of allegations on executive interference in the judicial appointments, because some judges were superseded, and therefore Indian judiciary, kind of evolved first judge's case, second judge's case, third judge's case, and even the 124 article 124 capital A amendment to the Indian constitution happened during 2014-15, was also struck down by the Supreme Court, saying judicial independence is supreme, and therefore in India judges are keeping in to arrest all these challenges of executive interference, and this collegium system is in place. Now this talks about a seven judge bench to review Supreme Court's April arbitration verdict. So arbitration is an alternative dispute resolution mechanism, and this news talks about constitution bench, which is mentioned in Article 145 Clause 3 of Indian Constitution. And whenever a matter has been decided by a constitutional bench, in order to revise, or in order to seek revisiting or revision of that particular verdict, larger bench is required. Therefore, now the matter is being uh, referred for to a seven judge Supreme Court bench. Seven judge bench. You can see the title: seven judge Supreme Court bench to revisit five judge bench arbitration order. Now, why arbitration related matters is very important. See, earlier this five judge bench, the order given by them was being criticized as going against ease of doing business, like that. So therefore, this there was a requirement of a review, so that if it has been made in such a way that there is ease of doing business, then it also contributes to many foreign companies and foreign investors coming into India and setting up businesses and contributing to the growth of the country. Now here, this talks about history. Portuguese were in Goa for 400 years. Yes, they did commit atrocities. That is what this news article talks about. However, even they have documented, including acts of atrocities, states this news article on the left hand side. And these two news article talks about requirement of revision of bail condition by Disha Ravi at the Delhi High Court, but Delhi High Court didn't agree. Rather, it said, you know, rather it said you should get the permission from the trial court. There is no modifications. However, it said, give some expeditious process and facilitate her. They have said that in case she moves an application seeking a permission to go abroad, at least 1 month prior to her intended visit, the state will have to file a response expeditiously. Other than that, the court didn't grant what Disha requested for. So there is an arrest warrant, lookout notice against, lookout circular against former Punjab finance minister. This is in relation to some irregularities in purchase of two plots. Now this is quite serious. In a road rage, a woman auto driver has been attacked by a man, and several information are significant here. There is an allegation that police response, the response of police after the call to police control room were delayed. So that was mentioned in the article, and there was also a statement from the police allegedly, why don't you come tomorrow and file a complaint? Why immediately you should file a complaint? So these statements are not nice to be told on to the victim. So there is an audit required. Senior officials know at what time calls came and at what time PCR vehicle, the help police vehicle reached the particular victim and attended the victim personally. And these kind of questions are what we call a secondary victimization, that the victim already faced a primary victimization at the hands of the particular accused, and then when going to seek help to the police asking these questions, there was a delay, and all these things, are called as institution. The response of institution to the victim traumatizes the victim more, intensifies the primary victimization. And this kind of victimization we call as secondary victimization at the hands of society, institution, friends, and family. Now this is a interesting information. It talks about, busting a cybercrime racket. Total money involved is around 125 crores. 25 bank accounts are involved. All right. And from one person itself, they have looted around 30 lakhs of rupees. And there were five accused here. Two of them are in the age group of 20 to 30, 20 to 25, 20 to 25, and three of them are in the age group of 30 to 35. However, these are all preliminary information. This is not final report. This is not the verdict. And there were mention about 11 fake companies using one single address. So this is a very huge kind of an organized crime. It looks like these offences should end in conviction. The police investigating the matter should do the investigation effectively and efficient manner in such a way that it ends in conviction. And they are saying that they have gangs in Dubai and Philippines, right? So they are generally giving promise to the people: give us this much money, we will give this much more. You give us 10,000, we'll give 12,000 within 2 3 days or within 1 month. You can get faster returns. People are cheated using this method. Now, this talks about disturbed area status extension in parts of Arunachal and Nagaland by 6 months. So, this is connected to when an area is called as disturbed area, there is implementation of this Armed Forces Special Powers Act. See here, it provides sweeping powers to search, arrest, and to open fire in these areas by the army. So, Iram Sharmila, she was fighting for a long time to revoke these AFSPA status in these states because civil liberties of people, movement of people have been severely restricted as they allege. And however, we should also understand what kind of internal security threats do we have in these states, and the situation should improve. And this talks about action against 20 coaching institutes, in because these institutes were reportedly found during inspection, I think, not not fulfilling necessary fire safety standards. Earlier in one of the institute there was a fire broke out actually. So this is kind of some kind of one way reactionary approach after the fire broke out at the institute. And seeing these activities at the 20 centers, they are trying to prevent such incidents in the future. However, these efforts should continue, monitoring should continue. And see here, four persons were convicted in 2010 honor killing. There is no honor as such. However, I think they have mentioned it, you know, so as to communicate to the audience. The you know It's a long wait. 2010, 2023, the persons are convicted. You should think. how the victim and the witness will maintain the grit, determination, courage to 13 years. This is so, this kind of, there should be fast tracking of such cases. It should not be delayed. There should not be delay. There should not be any unreasonable delay. And this is blatant violation of human rights. It is people's wish to live, to decide and choose their partner, right? So these are all human rights violations, taking right to life from somebody by killing them. In fact, these persons who are convicted, they have killed their own sisters. It's very brutal. So here they talk about this anti-drone system along international border. So you know, so this should be seen from the security perspective. They are saying that smuggling of arms, ammunition, and smuggling of narcotics are happening across international border. This should be prevented. This should be monitored. This should be tackled. That is the idea behind these systems. And this, I will not go deep into it. The Prime Minister reportedly said our government brought transparency. But here I would like to say Right to Information Amendment Act of 2019 should be withdrawn by the government because, in my opinion, it works against you know transparency, or it is actually against rule of law. It's my personal opinion. Therefore, the government should withdraw it and should give more teeth to the information commissions, should give security of tenure for the information commissions in the law itself. And law should be amended in such a way that if the orders are not implemented by the public authority, orders passed by information commissions, there should be sufficient penalty, punitive provision. Right now, it is not there. It should be there. Even though the Section 19(7) of RT Act says the orders are binding, right now there is no punishment. What if the orders are not implemented? So that is how we should move, take the system forward. And one more thing, if you are fighting against corruption, if you are effective, we can say that you are effective in fighting corruption only if you have this law called as Whistleblower Protection Act. Whistleblowers are those people who expose corruption. We need protection for these people. Advanced countries give protection reward to these people who expose corruption. However, in India, in 2014, there was a law called Whistleblower Protection Act. It was passed by both the houses of parliament. It even received the assent of the president. However, even though it is around some 8 years, more than 8 years, the law has not been brought into force. The date of coming into force was not yet announced by the union government. All right. So now this, from the angle of democracy, the Prime Minister reportedly said that the opposition has backed quota bill reluctantly. Say we should move in a mature sense, any party for that matter. You know, I would like to say that, irrespective of a party here. So these trends, particularly when a party has good majority in both the houses in any country for that matter, they should not underestimate the opposition. They should consider the opposition as the voice of people, as a healthy, mature democracy. And say, for example, if one of the parties, uh, I don't think there might be such a statement if they didn't have enough numbers, say either in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So I think we should, any party for that matter, both are hitting each other. We should move as a very healthy democracy. Here, a soldier, an army soldier, and his friend have been held for faking an assault attack, reportedly by Popular Front of India. That means they have filed a false complaint, right? And so this we have seen already. Now, this is very important. In July 2002, right, an Indian Air Force veteran took blood transfusion, particularly after his participation in one of the army operation. It was found out that in 2014 it was found out that he has contracted HIV. In 2016 he has been dismissed from service. He approached National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, which rejected his demand for compensation. However, Supreme Court accepted his demand and has given 1.5 crore as relief. And it has also ordered to provide disability pension arrears also. Now, this is something very serious. Why the disability pension arrears were stopped? All right. And we should know that there is a mention of Section 34 of HIV and AIDS Prevention and Control Act, right? This section provides that on all hearings, it should have in camera hearing only. Persons not related to the particular matter should not be present. And it also provides for suppression of identity of the victim. And it also provides for Section 34 also provides for taking the case of the person in a priority basis. All right. So, however, we see, we do not know exactly how much time the matter took for him to fight from district, NCDRC to Supreme Court and to get this final verdict. Right. This article talks about Supreme Court modifying bail norms for son of Minister of State to visit ailing mother. Right here, it says 63% of cancer deaths of Indian women were preventable. So that means cancer deaths of Indian women were preventable. Here we can get two, three information. Deaths of women gendered, it's preventable. So state should take necessary action in this matter. Collective action is also required. Here I find that in a community clash in Bhopal, 700 people were booked. How challenging it would have been for the security servants at the particular area, I mean the police servants, to handle this matter. And this also shows us the manner in which people are discriminating one community against another, and these things should change. There is the requirement of collective action, long term action, short term action, so that everyone considers each other equally and that they also learn to amicably settle their disputes. So this talks about coal block scam, where High Court suspended the sentence of ex-member of parliament and his son. So why they have suspended? Because the person has now filed an appeal against a conviction and sentence given by a trial court. Because there is an appeal, during the pendency of present appeal, the sentence imposed shall remain suspended. This is very brutal. Man was abducted by his own friends, allegedly. Final report is yet to be released. This is preliminary information. And they killed him and then demanded ransom of 2 lakh from their own friends, his family. So these are all, and inform and understandably, and it is reported that they brought liquor and all of them sat down and started to drink, and two people, they were carrying knives. So this gives us a version in this article, but what exactly happened will be revealed after investigation only. However, if they were having knives already on the site, it kind of gives an idea that it was a pre-planned action. It was a planned murder. All right, friends kill a 15-year-old boy over a dispute related to earpods. So a lot of work has to be done among children. We need to identify children who may have such behavior and should take all efforts to the school level. A lot needs to be done for these kids not to resort to violence. And this article talks about four persons were held in murder case of 24-year-old. It talks about a person being beaten by death, kind of lynching, allegedly during when the other person was snatching during a snatching attempt on an elderly woman. This is the initial version. Fair investigation is required. If somebody is snatching, they should catch this person and hand them over to the police. People cannot take law into their own hands. See, now that this person is killed, all these four individuals have to go to prison. All the four families had to suffer. So these things should be taught in the society. So this talks about a 44-year-old man from Mumbai goes missing on a trek in Malaysia. Here, when I read it, it is interestingly the family sought the help of High Commission. Man was missing in Malaysia. They don't know why the article didn't talk about the complaint being filed in Malaysian police, and they were asked to file a complaint in Mumbai. And that Mumbai police kind of told, how can we investigate when he is not missing from India? He is missing from Malaysia. Now imagine the plight of the parent of the victim running pillar to post to find their family member. Now this is a new initiative. Department of Education Nirikshan provides an opportunity for students and even teachers to file complaints and queries, taking use of technology, promoting reporting behavior. However, on this matter, the particular implementing authority should publish annual report so that citizens may know how useful this application is in terms of grievance redressal. Now, this talks about enforcement directorate raids in premises linked to Rajasthan ministers' sons. And here we talk about ED, Supreme Court asking ED not to summon Kavita till November 20. There have been a lot of allegations related to ED's actions by opposition parties, and even there have been reports that ruling MP talking in Parliament that you will be seeing a ED raid at your premises or something like that. So ED is given a political color, but they should not be, you know, justice should not only be done; it should also appear to be done. There is allegations that ED is kind of a caged parrot at the hands of the ruling government. Be it ED, be it SFIO, be it CBI, they should function in a neutral manner. That is what is that they have taken oath for. Now, this is reportedly said as first time in 70 years. The jewelry shop in South Delhi. Robbers have drilled hole and they have taken around 25 crore worth of property. So it was noticed that it happened on a Monday. The jewelry was closed on that day. So this kind of gives me an impression that whether these persons already know that Sunday is a holiday, Monday is a holiday, nobody would be there on Monday. So let's go on Monday and take items and go away. Police are also probing the angle of insider involvement to the matter. That is somebody from the jewelry shop who's employed there is help these guys. And it seems that these guys have come to the jewelry shop several times because then only they can plan accordingly. And there are various remarks that these guys might have jumped from neighboring building to this building, and in one of the neighboring building the entire fourth floor is vacant. So these are all soft targets, facilitating points for crime. And they are also saying that CCTV of the jewelry shop is not functional. See, these are all causing difficulties for the investigating agencies. And there is one news article, it says dedicated security. The store had no security guard. See, always security is cost. Always security is cost. If they had done minimum, necessary minimum standard cost for the security, 25 crore, jewelry would have been now safe. Anyhow, it's not time for blaming. This is a time for, you know, trying to recover, identify these people, because if they go unnoticed, if police didn't catch these fellows, imagine what they can do with 25 crores, and how much people will these guys influence, and they may tell to one another, this is much better than, it's good that we are doing this. They have, so therefore it is very important these guys should be identified, and the loss of 25 crore to the jewelry should be, only if that must be recovered from them. And the news article, the previous slide, talked about previous incident that happened in Paharganj some 7 8 years ago. However, there is no mention of what happened at the end of the investigation. Whether the persons involved were identified and convicted or not was missing in the article in the previous slide. So this news article talks about reports on whether Aadhaar data that are kept by the government of India, is it safe? Is it not safe? Things related to that. Government says all the information are protected in a safe manner. So that's what they are saying. And this is Delhi Jal Board has suspended two engineers over raising of a historical structure. Allegation is that 15th century structure has been collapsed, demolished, and in the same place, bungalow for one of the engineer has been constructed. You can read it here. This article talks about Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission to frame regulations on electrocution, and also talks about compensation. So compensation is one way of financial assistance, victim assistance, where yes, there is a loss, irreversible loss, but there is some kind of solace that the state tries to do to the victim's family. This is a motivational news that a person learns to read and write at the age of 92. So it says that age is just a number. Her video counting 1 to 100 is making waves on social media. So this talks about, very painful situation in Manipur. There is a 5 day internet ban. Internet ban. We are living in the era of internet, and internet ban means lot of opportunities lost. Many families depend on internet for employment opportunities, education, etc., etc. So, so pictures purportedly showing the bodies of a missing 17-year-old girl and a 20-year-old boy. You know, there was huge violence on the streets in Impal in relation to this matter. Around 50 students were injured. So, this news article talks about court taking cognizance of charge sheet against the Supertech chairman. Chairperson should be the term, anyhow. So, 164 crores is the amount reportedly taken from home buyers. It mentions that there were around 670 home buyers from whom a total of 164 crore is taken. And from banks, they might have taken around 1,500 crores. So they are telling that they got this money and they kept it in rotation like this, like this. Here you can find 1,500 crore. So you should know that once police investigation, or once the investigating agency completes its investigation, at the end of the investigation, they will submit the charge sheet and the final report at the court of law. Then trial begins at the court of law. So this news article talks about a rebuke to non-government organization which has not done proper research when it requested to stay demolition of bungalow once occupied by cricketer Vijay Hazare. This is a very brutal information that we are receiving, that a woman brutally assaulted, stripped, urinated upon for failing to pay interest on a loan of 1,500 rupees, and NHRC is issuing notice to the it has taken suo moto cognizance. Know that NHRC, SHRC, they can take complaints on their own based on, say, for example, from a newspaper report. So they are asking the government to include FIR status, physical and mental health status of the victim, compensation, if any, granted to her, and other information pertaining to if the victim belongs to scheduled caste community, what action has been taken against scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, Prevention of Atrocities Act. Here I would like to tell you one thing. Prevention of Atrocities, Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribes Rules 1995, Rule 16 puts accountability on Chief Minister of every state to constitute State Vigilance Monitoring Committee in January and July every year. January and July every year to monitor the implementation of the law. However, it is our duty to check whether our state chief ministers are doing this statutory duty. Now, this news says, you know, social media platforms are under no compulsion to take down the content that are flagged by the fake news unit or fake, fact check unit of the government. Then it is kind of like, then why it has to be flagged if there is no accountability on the part of social media platforms? What's the purpose of flagging it to the social media platforms? So let's see how these news unfold in the coming days. So very sad news here. A 5-year-old, in order to escape taking bath, hides into a car. Once entered into the car, the door is locked. The particular boy couldn't open the door, and due to suffocation, he passed away. So, this is an interesting news article which talks about attaching race horses as properties of proceeds of crime to be attached by Enforcement Directorate. Now, here you can see earlier in 2019, there was a provisional attachment order of 3 chimpanzees and 4 marmosets seized from a smuggler in Kolkata being attached as proceeds of crime under this PMLA. Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, this is an interesting news. Akasa Air is saying that our pilots have left our company without serving notice period. Then it seems like, when I read the news article, it seems like many left Akasa and joined Air India, kind of that. So, Air India chief is saying if you have invested in training a pilot, then they should serve notice period, else they need not. It has been reported in that sense. So I'll leave it at that. This two-page, next page and this page talks about ransomware threats. Your phone will be hacked and they will say you pay this much money, then only you can open your phone. So this is called as ransomware. Malware, ransom malware. All right, they're asking ransom, but here they are giving few statistics. I don't know how far this is. I couldn't check the authenticity. However, this has been, in the marketing for Fortinet. They're saying 50% of organizations fell victim to ransomware in last 12 months. We need to know in which geographical area are they talking about. Is it all over the world? Is it in a particular country? I don't think they have given this information adequately. However, ransomware is a threat that we should admit. Now, here it talks about Kaveri Authority ordering Karnataka to release 3,000 cusecs to Tamil Nadu. Now, there has to be leadership among politicians who should settle all these issues amicably. People should be more matured. You know, there should be respect for Supreme Court judicial bodies. That is rule of law. No one should be subjected to violence. No one should be restricted or deprived of liberty from any state, both the states, be it any two states having similar issues. Everyone should grow above their differences and forge unity and settle the disputes through judiciary in an amicable manner. So here this news article states that Prophet Muhammad has said, no Arab has superiority over a non Arab, and no non Arab has superiority over an Arab. No black man has superiority over a red, and no red over the black, over a black. All are born of Adam, and Adam was born of the earth. So this is kind of giving an idea that Prophet said, world belongs to everybody. No one is superior to another. All are equal. And they're also talking here about you know, Aisha, wife of Prophet, was more educated than many men of her time. That is why destroying women's education institutions by Taliban goes against teachings of Muhammad. Yes, so you know these are some information related to Muhammad. Today is his birth anniversary, Milad Nabi. Now this Nagorno Karabakh is an area in Armenia, no area in Azerbaijan, adjacent to Armenia. In fuel depot blast, around 125 people were killed. So there should be necessary monitoring into how these investigations are taking place. You know, how these families are going to be compensated, assisted, we don't know. Canadian speaker resigns after inviting a Ukrainian, war veteran who once was under the command of Nazi leadership, who fought for a Nazi military during World War II. You know, therefore, the Canadian speaker was facing a lot of criticisms that they kind of let this person who was accused of killing many persons under the command of Nazi has been kind of hailed in the Canadian legislature, bringing disrepute. to the Canadian legislature. Now, this article talks about there was somebody from Trump's camp posted a video that he is examining a pistol and is about saying that I would like to get it, something like that. And later they clarified that he did not purchase it. So we should know that, see, already there are rules in United States which says since he is already under indictment, nobody can sell a firearm to him. That is the rule of the law in the it is illegal for merchants to sell firearms to people who are under indictment for crimes carrying sentences of more than 1 year. Now, why are we seeing all these things? To get some idea how these laws are written in some different parts of the world, so as to we can get to know these things, how they are being implemented, etc. And when we study it with an example, it becomes much easier in the process. We should know that gun culture is, wreaking havoc at the United States, and somebody like Trump, talking like this could seriously impact negatively on this negative side of this gun culture. So Russia, there is this there is this information going on. Russia is saying our Black Sea Fleet commander is alive. Ukraine is saying that he is killed. Now see kind of ramifications due to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, right? So yes, so this is a matter that Tech Mahindra CEO has said artificial intelligence, which he calls as applied intelligence. I don't know whether he meant something different from artificial intelligence, that this applied intelligence will take one third of IT jobs. So he is hopeful, he is positive, but then the nation should prepare that people should be protected whenever they face job loss, because entire family will be under problem. So there should be sufficient planning that should go to arrest the challenges that come out of these job losses. And High Court asks Ministry of External Affairs response on missing seafarer. The family has approached the High Court so as to ask Ministry of External Affairs to do necessary help in this matter. There is involvement of Russia, there is involvement of Turkey in this matter. So let's hope that the matter will be resolved soon. However, MEA has been given around 2 weeks or 3 weeks of time. I think they should swiftly carry out this process. Now, this talks about a scam, inner ring road scam in Vijayawada in Andhra Pradesh. So I will not go deep into it. So yes, so they have filed a memo before Anti-Corruption Bureau Court, arraigning TDP General Secretary's son, Nara Lokesh, as an accused. There is also a political statement that he has given against the current leadership, Jagan Mohan Reddy and others. So this is the last but one. They are talking about London, and that the prison is filthy, rat infested, and that was the prison where Nirav Modi was in. However, the news article talks about two reports contrasting. One saying that the prison setup was not like that, other saying that the prison was filthy, rat invested, etc. Yes, so with respect to prisons, let me not attach emotionally with the person involved in this news. Uh, you know, Keeping our those aspects aside, see, there is a document called Nelson Mandela Rules, standard minimum rules for the treatment of prisoners. You can read the document, and it prescribes how prison systems should be. All right. And coming to treatment of juvenile, children in conflict with law, there are two, three documents. It is called as standard minimum rules for the administration of juvenile justice called as Beijing rules. Then the UN rules for the prevention of UN rules for the protection of juveniles deprived of liberty called as Havana rules. Then there is this UN standard minimum UN guidelines for the prevention of juvenile delinquency called as the Riyadh guidelines. You can go through these documents. These documents are available in the internet. I found two job opportunities. There are many has been published in the newspaper. This is pertaining to career counselor. A master's degree in psychology has been expected. They are calling for specialization in career counseling. You can see the notifications. However, you are asked to check the official notification for any verification. So, with this, we come to the end of this analysis. I understand that it would be quite lengthy, but you got my opinion. You are free to comment, share your opinion, tell me how it was helpful to gain perspective over these matters, and we'll see you in one another video. If you find this video helpful, you may subscribe, like, and you may share this video to those people who would utilize this resource in the best way possible. And growing knowing current affairs, going knowing these information will play a very important role in molding, gaining information, we gaining knowledge. We can make ourselves a hard target against you know motivated offenders and others. Thank you very much. See you in another video.